Have you ever laced up your walking shoes only to pause at the door thinking, is this really worth it anymore? Maybe someone told you, at your age, walking won't do much, or insisted that every step you take puts you at risk of a tumble. If that sounds familiar, you're far from alone. In fact, there are whole stacks of advice out there about why seniors shouldn't or can't walk safely and effectively. But what if I told you those warnings are myths? What if walking could actually be one of the best things you do for your body and mind right now? In this video, we're going to uncover the 5 biggest lies about walking when you're older, starting with the 2 most common misconceptions that might be keeping you on the couch today. Picture this. It's a crisp morning, and you're standing at your front door, coffee in hand, watching dew on the lawn glisten in the sun. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves overhead. You know a walk would feel good, but in your mind, doubt creeps in. What if you lose your balance on that uneven sidewalk? What if your knee screams the moment you put weight on it? Those worries aren't just in your head. They're fueled by a common myth that older adults walking outside are basically inviting a fall. But here's the truth. Avoiding walking because of fear actually makes falls more likely. When you stay stationary for long periods, your muscles weaken, your joints stiffen, and your reflexes slow down. So by the time you do try to move, your body is less prepared to keep you upright. Walking, when done the right way, is actually one of the safest, most effective ways to build balance and strength. Think of it as practice for your body's natural stabilizing system. Each step you take fires tiny muscle fibers deep in your ankles, calves, and hips. Muscles that aren't used when you're sitting. Over weeks and months, those fibers grow stronger. Your proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space, sharpens, and you learn to catch yourself if you stumble. My neighbor, Evelyn, was convinced she'd topple over if she walked more than a block. She began with just 2 minutes a day along her living room wall, holding onto the banister. After a week, she stepped outside for a 1-minute stroll around her porch. A few days later, she added another minute and a short chat with her mail carrier. Within a month, she was navigating the sidewalk with ease. And all that happened because she treated walking as gentle training, not a daredevil stunt. So if you've been hesitating for fear of falling, start small, choose smooth surfaces, and give yourself permission to progress at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how quickly your confidence returns. Now let's pivot to the second big lie. Walking won't do much for your health at your age. If you really want to see results, you need high-intensity workouts. You might have heard fitness gurus say that low-intensity exercise is only for beginners, or that anything less than a sweaty heart-pounding session is basically a waste of time. But moderate-paced walking is far more potent than it's given credit for, especially after 60. Your heart, lungs, muscles, and even your brain benefit enormously from steady motion. No sweaty lycra required. Imagine a scenario. You choose to walk around your neighborhood park for 20 minutes, 3 times a week. You're not racing. You're simply maintaining a comfortable pace that keeps you breathing a bit faster but still allows you to chat with a friend. Over time, those sessions add up to an hour of moderate activity each week. According to numerous studies, that level of movement can lower your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes by roughly a third. It can also improve your cholesterol profile, boost your immune function, and help control your blood pressure. For your brain, the benefits are equally impressive. Walking increases blood flow to the hippocampus, which is the memory center, helping to sharpen your thinking and ward off mental fog. I once spoke with George, a retired schoolteacher who believed the only real exercise was vigorous swimming or running. He dismissed walking as too easy, but after his doctor suggested just half an hour of daily steps, George decided to give it a shot. He started by walking the perimeter of his local community center, tracking his time with a simple wristwatch. To his surprise, by week 2 he felt more energetic, slept better at night, and even noticed that the simple act of standing up and walking across the room no longer left him breathless. Over 6 months he lost 15 pounds, his joint pain eased, and his cardiologist told him his heart health was as good as someone 10 years younger. All because he embraced the power of consistent, moderate-paced walking. So if you've been holding out for a heart-thumping gym session before you earn the exercise label, pause for a moment. Walking isn't just a warm-up, it's a cornerstone of healthy aging. You don't need to sprint, you just need to move. Whether it's a stroll through your garden at sunrise, a loop around your block after lunch, or even a series of laps in your living room during a rainy afternoon, each step matters. And better yet, it's gentle on your body, free of charge, and perfect for your pace and comfort level. As we wrap up this first segment, notice how the 2 myths we've tackled work together. Fear of falling keeps you still, and the notion that walking won't help keeps you unmotivated. But in reality, every safe, steady step builds strength, confidence, and health. No special skills required. Next, we'll dive into the third and fourth lies: why you might think walking makes joint pain worse, and why you believe you need expensive gear or high-tech gadgets to see real benefits. Trust me, those are myths you'll want to bust wide open too. So take a deep breath, shake off any lingering doubts, and get ready to discover why walking at any age is not only safe but transformative. Let's keep going. Your body and mind will thank you for every step forward. We left off talking about how stepping out each day can be safer than you think, and how those gentle strides deliver real health gains. Now let's dive into the next two myths that may be keeping you from lacing up your shoes. You might have been warned, don't walk too much, your knees will hate you for it. Or every step you take tears away at your joints. That brings us to lie number 3. The idea that walking makes joint pain worse. It's easy to assume that if your knees or hips ache, the last thing they need is more movement. But in truth, regular low-impact walking is one of the best remedies for joint stiffness and discomfort. Think of your joints like well-oiled hinges on a door. When they don't move, the oil settles and they creak. When you walk, even at a modest pace, you're circulating synovial fluid, the natural oil in your knees, hips, and ankles, helping to reduce friction and nourish the cartilage. Rather than putting undue stress on your joints, walking actually strengthens the muscles around them, providing better support and shock absorption. I remember my friend Marcia, who feared that any leg movement beyond rocking in her chair would leave her hobbling for days. She began taking 5-minute walks on a smooth, grassy path near her house. Within a couple of weeks, she noticed that her morning stiffness was milder, and the ache she used to feel after just standing up disappeared almost entirely. When soreness did appear, it was the kind that told her muscles were waking up, not that her joints were breaking down. Of course, you'll want to take a few precautions. Choose supportive shoes with cushioned soles, stick to even surfaces, and listen to your body. If a walk leaves you in sharp pain, dial back the distance or try a softer route like a paved park trail or a treadmill at a gentle incline. But don't let fear of discomfort keep you seated. Movement is the medicine your joints crave. Next up is lie number 4. The belief that you need fancy gear, high-tech gadgets, or a gym membership to make your walk count. Everywhere you look, there's an ad for the latest smart shoes, GPS trackers, or high-dollar walking poles. You might think, if I don't have the right gear, why bother? But here's the reality. Walking is one of the most accessible forms of exercise because it requires almost nothing beyond a comfortable pair of shoes and a willingness to step outside. Remember the simple joy of childhood walks. You didn't measure your pace, track your steps, or worry about advanced cushioning. You just walked. That same freedom still applies today. If you want a bit of extra support, look for shoes with a flexible sole, decent arch support, and a snug but not tight fit. Beyond that, you don't need anything else. A basic stopwatch or even the clock on your wall can help you track time if you like, but you don't need to obsess over every calorie burned or stride length. What matters most is that you move consistently and confidently. If you do choose a gadget, a simple pedometer or a no-frills fitness band, let it be a gentle motivator, not a source of stress. And if you'd rather skip technology altogether, that's perfect too. The real magic happens in your muscles and cardiovascular system, not in an app. My neighbor Walter was sure he needed a fancy treadmill to get an official workout. When he realized he could reap the same benefits by walking his dog around the block while enjoying fresh air and a bit of light conversation with fellow dog owners, he ditched the gym plans and doubled his time outdoors. He felt stronger, slept better, and loved the sense of community that came with each neighborhood stroll. By now, you've discovered that walking won't tear you apart, and you don't need a suitcase of gear to make it worthwhile. You simply need to put one foot in front of the other. Coming up in our next section, we'll expose the final myth about walking being boring or pointless, and then wrap up with a simple, powerful routine you can start tomorrow. Let's keep this momentum going. Your healthiest, happiest steps are just ahead. Finally, let's tackle that last stubborn myth, that walking is dull and won't do much for your mind or spirit once you're past a certain age. You may have thought, I'd rather curl up with a good book than shuffle around the block, or worried that a simple stroll won't sharpen your mind the way crossword puzzles do. But the truth is, walking can be one of the most powerful mood boosters and mind clearers you have, especially after 60. Imagine stepping out into the fresh air, letting your shoulders drop away from your ears as you settle into a natural rhythm. With each breath of cool morning air, you're sending fresh oxygen to your brain, clearing away the cobwebs of worry or fatigue. It's during a gentle walk that many people find their best ideas. A solution to a lingering problem, a memory of something they'd forgotten, or simply the inspiration to try something new. I remember my neighbor Rosa, who often told me she felt stuck in her daily routine. She decided to pair her walks with a simple practice, stopping for 30 seconds at each lamppost to take 3 deep breaths and notice one thing around her, like a flower in bloom, or the sound of children playing. She called it her pause and appreciate break, and she said it made every walk feel like a mini meditation. Before long, she wasn't just walking for exercise, she was walking for clarity, for peace, and for the little joys she rediscovered along the way. Even if you're someone who cherishes indoor hobbies, knitting, painting, reading, mixing in a daily walk gives your mind a different kind of workout. It's like switching from crossword puzzles to chess. Both challenge you, but in different ways. As you navigate curves in the sidewalk, shift your gaze to avoid cracks, or glance up at the trees, your brain engages in spatial awareness, anticipation, and simple problem solving. And because walking is rhythmic, it stimulates a part of your brain associated with positive mood, helping to lower stress hormones and unleash endorphins, those wonderful feel-good chemicals that brighten your day. Social connection is another mental perk that often goes overlooked. If you choose to walk with a friend or neighbor, each step becomes an opportunity to share laughter, swap stories, or simply enjoy comfortable silence side by side. That companionship feeds the soul in a way that solitary activities sometimes can't match. And on days when nobody's available, you might consider a brief hello to the friendly face at the corner store, or a wave to someone tending their garden across the street. Small interactions like these remind you that you're part of a living community, and they can uplift your mood just as much as a longer conversation. So now that we've debunked all 5 myths, that walking is too risky, too weak to matter, too hard on your joints, too gear-dependent, and too boring to benefit your mind, you might be wondering how to bring all of this to life in your own routine. The good news is, it's simpler than you think. Start by choosing a time that feels natural, maybe after your morning tea or right before dinner. Set a modest goal, perhaps 10 minutes around your block or 1 lap around your garden. As you walk, focus on 3 things: the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breathing, and one pleasant detail in your surroundings. A blooming flower, a bird's song, or the neighbor's waving hand. Over days and weeks, you can gently extend your time or distance, knowing that each additional minute builds muscle strength, joint flexibility, cardiovascular resilience, mental clarity, and social connection all at once. Before you know it, those daily steps will feel as essential as morning coffee. You'll notice less stiffness when you stand up in the morning, more energy as the afternoon wears on, and a brighter outlook on life. And perhaps most importantly, you'll carry with you the confidence that walking isn't just exercise, it's a simple, joyful celebration of what your body and mind can do at any age. If you're ready to give this a try, I encourage you to start today. Lace up the most comfortable shoes you have, step outside, and see how even 5 minutes can transform your mood and set the tone for the rest of your day. Then come back and share your experience in the comments. What did you notice? How did it feel? Your journey could light the way for someone else who's been waiting for permission to take that first step. If this video opened your eyes to walking's true potential, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more gentle science-backed tips designed to help you thrive in your golden years. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a simple habit that can change your life. Here's to embracing every step, discovering new joys, and living your best life at any age. Have you ever paused at your front door watching the world go by and thought, why bother with walking anymore? Maybe you've been told that at our age, those simple steps are pointless, or worse, that they actually put us at risk of falling. But what if I told you that those worries are based on myths rather than facts? What if walking could be one of the most powerful ways to keep your body strong, your mind sharp, and your spirit lifted, no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated? Imagine this morning. The sun is just peeking over the rooftops. You've poured yourself a warm cup of tea and you're standing on the porch with the faint scent of dew in the air. A walk would feel nice, wouldn't it? Yet that little voice inside whispers, maybe I'll wait until tomorrow. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And you're exactly where many of us start. Today, we'll shine a light on the first 2 of the 5 biggest lies about walking when you're older, so you can trade doubt for confidence and put one foot in front of the other with real purpose. The very first myth is this: walking is too dangerous for seniors. You're asking for a fall. I know how strong that fear can feel. A misplaced step on uneven pavement, a damp patch on the sidewalk. Suddenly it seems safer to stay on the couch. But here's the surprising truth. Avoiding walking actually makes falls more likely. When we sit still for too long, our muscles weaken, our balance wavers, and our reflexes slow down. It's like leaving a car parked. If you never drive it, the engine gets rusty, the tires go flat. But with regular use, everything runs more smoothly. Walking, when done right, is one of the safest ways to strengthen your legs, ankles, and core, the very muscles that keep you upright. Start small. Choose a level surface, wear shoes with good grip, and pick a time of day when the light is clear. Even a brief 5-minute stroll around your living room or down a hallway builds strength and stability. My friend Dorothy was convinced she'd lose her footing after 2 blocks, so she began pacing her living room, lightly touching the wall for support. Within a week, she felt steadier. Within a month, she was navigating her driveway without a second thought. Each step taught her body how to catch itself, so that when she did venture outside, she did so with newfound ease rather than fear. That brings us to the second lie. At our age, walking won't do much for your health. You need vigorous exercise to see real benefits. You might have heard that if you're not breaking a sweat, you're not working hard enough. But moderate walking delivers a remarkable range of health perks, especially after 60. Think of walking as the gentle water that nourishes a garden. You don't need a raging storm to help flowers bloom. A comfortable, steady pace raises your heart rate just enough to improve circulation, boost lung capacity, and help regulate blood sugar. Over time, those simple, repeated steps can lower your risk of heart disease, reduce blood pressure, and even sharpen cognitive function. Let me tell you about George, a retired schoolteacher who was convinced he needed strenuous gym sessions to count as exercise. His doctor suggested 30 minutes of walking 5 days a week, so he started with 10 minutes around his neighborhood park. To his surprise, within 2 weeks he felt more alert in the mornings, slept more soundly at night, and noticed his joints felt less achy. By month 3, his blood pressure readings were down and he'd shed a few stubborn pounds without stepping foot in a gym. All he did was commit to a simple daily walk. You don't have to plan a long looping hike to see these benefits. Choosing a consistent time, perhaps after breakfast when your body is warmed up, builds routine. If 30 continuous minutes feels daunting, break it into 2 15-minute sessions or 3 10-minute outings. It all adds up, and each walk builds on the last, stacking small wins into big gains. And because walking is low impact, it's kinder to your joints than high-intensity workouts, yet still powerful enough to reshape your health. So far, we've uncovered why steering clear of walking out of fear can actually weaken you, and why you don't need to sprint to enjoy real health improvements. You're already discovering how walking can be both safe and effective. No special equipment, no steep hills, just forward momentum at your own pace. Now that you've seen how these first 2 myths crumble under a little understanding, imagine the possibilities as we keep going. In the next part, we'll tackle 2 more lies: why you might believe walking worsens joint pain, and why you think you need fancy gear or high-tech gadgets to make it worthwhile. But before we move on, take a moment to consider what walking could look like for you tomorrow. Could it be a gentle lap in your garden, a brief stroll to the mailbox, or a short loop around your living room as you listen to your favorite music? Picture yourself with a bit more energy, a bit more confidence, and a body that thanks you for each step. That vision is just around the corner. One step leads to the next, and walking isn't just about covering distance. It's about reclaiming your health, 1 foot at a time. Let's keep that momentum going together.